This, my friends, is what 1,800 rubber per minute looks like, and the accompanying fuel generation. Now why, you might ask, do you need so much rubber? Well, to put it simply, we don't. Well, we don't yet. Right now it's just getting put into fix-it coupons. But I have a lofty goal of 10 turbo motors per minute. And that requires a lot of these machines. Very, very loud machines. Whew, that's much better. So why 10 turbo motors? Well, when I got to this point in the game, which is pretty far in the game, we're in phase 4, almost done the first part, we're just kind of trickle feeding it. I looked at the manufacturer and said, there's no way I'm waiting half a minute for just one turbo motor. So I said, you know what, why don't we just multiply that by 10? We put 10 manufacturers down. What does that cost? And can it even be achieved? Well, I didn't know how big of a thing I was getting into, but I knew where to start, and that was rubber. So I asked myself, how much rubber does it take? And I went through all of the different things. I'm going to throw a little picture of my notes on screen. There was a lot of rubber required for this build, and I didn't really know how much I needed, so I just kind of built out what I expected to be enough. And it turned out to be all of that. This factory is 20 per floor, and there's 4 floors, making 1,600 per minute rubber, and then, a bunch of fuel comes out of it. A bunch of heavy oil residue. I had to do so much work just to get it all figured out and piped out, and it looks magnificent. And you know what? I kind of needed it. Even though this pumps out 1,800 rubber per minute. 10 turbo motor factories, given the recipe that I want to build for this, it's going to take 1,100 of it. So, with fuel generation now under control, we've got power. In fact, I think you can do the math on it, but there's 44 generators down there. We pulled this gray line from just barely getting by to way up above our max consumption. So now we can play around with it a little bit more. And I'm going to need every single drop of it, all 9,000 megawatts of free power that we have, because this is just one part in the turbo motor journey. And like I said, that list, we've got to do almost 800 all-clad sheets, 810 aluminum casings per minute, another 850-ish copper sheets per minute. We currently only have this one over here. All of this major factory, and then this one, all pumps into that one tiny little storage container right there. And that's 270 per minute, so I'm gonna need a whole bunch more copper as well. It's just a crazy project, and I thought I'd bring you along with me for it. Now, I don't think this will be optimal. I don't have all the hard drive recipes, but just kind of going through the thought process of how do you take on this large of a project, and just giving you a sense of scale on what it means to undertake such a project. Why? I don't know. And there's a couple bumps along the way. For example, as you can see in the top right there, particle enrichment requires all of the things, except for the rods over there. All the things for turbo motors are already there. One, the turbo motors, 100 of them. 400 cooling systems, that's what goes into turbo motors. So we're already on our way to particle enrichment, but not really. We're kind of at this weird halfway point. Because alongside all this, we've got the minor Mark IIIs. And those take the fused modular frames, which we'll talk about some other time. We've already built a factory for that. And then those turbo motors. So if we want to put turbo motors to use, we need to get more turbo motors, and then the turbo motors can turbo motor the entire system faster. So it's this weird feedback loop where once you get a couple turbo motors, you can upgrade all of your miners to go twice as fast. And then your factories can be twice as big, but then you need more power, and then you need more of this and that. And so that's why I started with rubber, because they don't use miners. It's just oil, so much oil. In fact, here's the map. We're using it's the Sandy Delta or whatever it's called. All of these oil fields, that is all just getting pumped into that one factory over there. Over there. Behind that big rock. What a terrible spot for that dialogue. There. A little better. Hold on. There it is, in its majesty. Now, I don't think I'm doing it justice, these turbo motors and how much space and material it's going to take. So today, I just wanted to talk about it and give you the kind of step-by-step things that we're going to do to figure out this very lofty goal. We don't have any production systems built out yet other than that rubber factory, and Well, I've been doing some some quick math everywhere. So I figured, a video, that's the best spot to kind of get all the ideas out into the public. Maybe you have some thoughts and opinions on where I could do better. And in general, I don't know, it might be an interesting thing to think about and go through if you, yourself, are a Satisfactory player or like the idea of the game. Now before we start, I need to know where all the resources are in this world. Currently, my friends and I have done a good amount of exploration, and we just started putting down radio towers. But there's still this whole side of the map that is more or less unknown to me. So I think before I even get into this, I need to put down a couple more radio towers. Maybe one here, another one up here, try and get the boundary figured out, see where resources spawn. I know some parts of the map, like down here, you can actually walk down here, but it starts damaging you over time. It's a no-go zone. So let's quickly run around the map, put down some radio towers, hook them all together into the power grid, and then figure out what to do from there. Also, whoever designed these maps took a masterclass in level design. Like, I don't know where I'm going, but this almost seemingly natural path, I know it's going to take me somewhere of importance, if not just to another region. You can kind of like follow it along, take this side path, and you kind of know that you're going somewhere at all times. Come on, correct. There we go. And it's just so subtle, like you just kind of find the path. It's not there, but it's also there, if that makes sense. Just, I could speak volumes. I could speak forever on just how well these levels are designed. It's just a masterclass. It's in a league of its own. Like, I didn't know that this was here, but it happened to be here, and it was on the path. Like, I want to go over there, and I see, okay, yeah, there might be a path here, so we'll just follow around here, and it kind of leads me to this node. And it leads me to this bank of water, and this... Oh! Well, he just spawned in. Sorry. And I know I can't drive through here because, it's a swamp. But maybe I can make it. Maybe this path over here is like the, hey, I know you're in a car when you're driving through here, so just ride this bank. But it's just a bank. Like, for all intents and purposes, this is just the bank of a stream. It's not a path, but it comes back to a path. Honestly, I don't know if it's procedurally generated and just works perfectly, but it almost feels alive, and the people have been here for a while, even though we're alone. And I don't know, I love it. I love this place. So this is the coverage before, and that's after. So I put down quite a few, but I actually ran out of resources. They take quite a few just to build those up. But we filled out this top half. We got the desert filled out, which I don't know if you see this, but I don't even know what to do with all this. This is like way more iron than I was ever expecting. There's a bit of coal in the side here as well, and water here and there. It'll be a little bit difficult to get water in there, but with that much iron, I think we're good. Definitely set up a huge iron factory on this side. Then over here we have a little bit more oil that I didn't exploit, a little bit of alumina in the top left. It's almost a perfect pure node, so we can definitely use that. It's around a whole bunch of sandstone, which doesn't really help us. And then I almost got down to here, kind of got this little bit, a bunch of geysers we haven't actually touched yet, a pure one over there actually, that's really good. And then I didn't get really far into the swamp because like I said, I ran out. So I think next up I'll just grab this bottom bit, and then it'll be done. But for now, that's all I really need in terms of map resource locations. We still have a whole bunch of coal up here, so I think next on the list will probably be... I think we'll be doing steel pipe, wire. I do need to figure out where the aluminum factories are going to go, though. So probably down here, we've got this very... actually, just a pure water over here, right beside a whole bunch of bauxite. They're impure, yeah, but we don't really need a lot of bauxite. And it's right beside the nitrogen gas that I've already claimed. And there's a bit more water below it as well. That might be a good alumina factory location. We already have this one all cleared out, I think. I'll have to double check that. I think that makes sense. But for now, I think that's it. I need to do a lot more work off camera. And probably once I've got all the infrastructure built out, I'll come back and show you some of the work that we've done. Like I mentioned, it's quite a road to get to turbo motors, and I don't know really where I'm going to start. Other than math. I'm going to have to do a lot of math. really plan it out, and then after that, we should be good to go. If you have any ideas on where the best place to start would be, let me know. Because I'm flying blind here. All I know is that I need it, and I want it, and I've got the rubber to do it. So everything else kind of has to fall into place before I even start doing that. And it's like I showed you the list. It's quite a list, but we'll figure it out. The best thing to do when you have a project like this is to take it one step at a time and say, okay, well, how do I make the cooling systems? Or how do I make the motors? Or how do I make the radio control units? Actually, I'm making radio control units right now, so I can use... Oh, no, not this one. This one. I can use this as kind of a buffer. I know that the computer factory is over here. By the way, this is just the computer factory. All of this, I made it PCB green. I'll have to do a factory tour at some point just to show off everything, but this one, and then there's another one below it to make 10 per minute. It's a lot of space, and a lot of quick wire, and a lot of copper, and plastic. And I'm trying to do it without plastic, so maybe I'll redo my recipe components now that I know that there's a whole bunch more oil up here. Well, I mean, not a whole bunch more, but at least some more oil. Oil we're definitely running low on. Unclaimed nodes, let's just see. Yeah, so we've got a little bit in the middle. Normal, so a couple normal nodes. Some here, impure nodes, and then these were like a mix of normal and impure. So we're really low on oil. So plastic production is really not a good option right now. So how can we kind of work with what we have, which is no plastic, and build out a turbo motor factory with that in mind? A lot of questions, and I don't really have any of the answers, so I bet you this just feels like a rambly mess. But, you know, it might be a way to some sort of crazy concoction, some solution that nobody's really pondered or thought about. I'm rambling at this point, though, so I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for watching this, and if you're interested, let me know. Otherwise, this series might die. Just a comment or a like, so I know that YouTube will suggest this to more people and, you know, at least go from there. I don't know. We'll see. In any case, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.